Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Terre est maintenant ouverte.
Nnamdi Kanu, in his quest for fighting for freedom for his people in Biafran land, in his quest for liberating Biafrans, in his quest for making Biafra popular to the world, he said something very, very important, and something that I can tell you that as of today, the world is talking about Biafra. Believe it or not, but that is just the truth. To the extent that the video you watch is ICC, International Criminal Court in Hague, the highest court that deals with international related matters. Can I tell you something? That Simon Ekpa actually took the issue of Biafra to the extent of going to the ICC court. Do you know he submitted lots of documents against the Zoo government? Now, see what the Zoo government did. In order not to create more awareness and in order to continue to defend and bask in their lies against humanity, do you know what they did? They refused to go to court, in ICC. That is why even that case as of today is still pending. This is the Zoo and this is what they do. But yet, they've been coming out speaking against Simon Ekpa Njoko, fighting against a man whose only crime to them is the fact that, he decided to defend his land. He decided to defend, Biafra from these evil and atrocious things that is being caused in Biafran land. I dropped a video, a news about, the crime that happened in Plateau State, where over 70 persons were actually attacked. Let me tell you the plans of the Zoo government. They've actually tried as much as possible, in every way possibly, to invade Biafran land, take over Biafran land, so that the issue of this Biafran thing can actually stop. They've done that. But if not for the men on ground and the people Mazi Simon Ekpa, kept to continue to fight for the freedom and continue to defend their people, they would have gone as far as taking over Biafran land. And you know what will happen when they take over Biafran land? A lot of things will definitely go wrong. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm still here to talk about this young man, Simon Ekpa Njoko. I have a very important video, a very fascinating video of what is actually happening in ICC. How Simon Ekpa Njoko has actually done the unbelievable. Yes, he has done the unbelievable. Forget about people who keep on fighting him. Those who claim that they are fighting for the Biafran struggle, but yet they are only fighting for their selfish interests and gains alone. Simon Ekpa is doing what no other person have done apart from Nnamdi Kanu. He continued a legacy and he should be respected. I want you to watch this video. It's very important. You will know what Simon Ekpa has done in ICC for Biafrans.
Today being the 10th of July of 2025, we've received elaborate news and updates coming from the country of Nigeria, Finland and the USA. And in this video briefing, we shall clinically analyze and showcase every single thing that's played out for you to see and understand. The very first news and updates we have for you in this video is the fact that a court situated in Spain have set a precedent on how Simon's case would probably look like. And in the same vein, we received unverified info that Simon, as we speak, is formulating a lead and drawing out a blueprint on how to sue the Finnish government after his case has been heard and judgment made. In this video, we shall be giving you a descriptive nature of that case and how Simon intends to sue the Finnish government as per an unverified info. In this said video coverage, we received a devastating news or a devastating clip coming from the Nigerian military, where a soldier was seen making a statement about the Biafran people and how he plans on dealing with them. In this video, we shall be disclosing every single thing coming from the Nigerian military. Still in this video briefing, we received an article from the desk of the president of the most powerful nation of the world in the person of Donald Trump, where he gave us more clarity on the reasons why he invited 5 African nations for a summit in the White House and why the US presidency snubbed Bola Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In this said video coverage, we shall be disclosing an interesting assertion and claims coming from Abubakar Atiku, the former vice president of Nigeria. Yes, Atiku Abubakar came out to make an interesting statement regarding the southern region of Nigeria when it comes to the next elections that will be held in 2027. Yes, moving on swiftly, we also received a news and article coming from the desk of the IPOB. These guys came up recently to distance themselves from a particular group of individuals that works closely with the IPOB. So the question here is, which particular group did the IPOB distance themselves from? Well, in this video, you shall be getting clear answers and a full analysis. Moving on swiftly, you also have a massive one coming from Asari Dokubo. This man came up to make a laughable statement regarding Bola Tinubu and his presidency. We all know that before the presidential elections in 2023, Asari Dokubo campaigned heavily for Bola Tinubu, claiming that Tinubu is the only savior of the country. But as we speak, this man has made a U-turn and probably he's crying somewhere in his room. Well, moving on swiftly, we also received a statement and article coming from the current Senate president of Nigeria regarding the wealth of senators in Nigeria. Ekpa came up to make a statement that feels insultive to the Nigerian people. Yes, in this video, we shall be disclosing and critically analyzing every single thing that this man had to say about the wealth of senators. In this said video briefing, we received a mouth-watering statement coming from the street of the USA. As we speak, some individuals held a peaceful protest in the USA, and guess whose name was mentioned and chanted? Yes, individual citizens of the USA had a protest recently, a very, very peaceful one, and a particular name of an African was mentioned and chanted. And these individuals were asking the president of the most powerful nation of the world, Donald Trump, to be like that individual. Well, in this video, we shall be giving you a full and precise analysis of every single thing that's happened within, so you can see and understand. Well, with all of that being said, let us kickstart this video with our very first update. As mentioned previously during the start of this video, we claimed that an individual in the Nigerian military made a series of claims and assertions regarding the Biafran people. So the question here is, what did this army man say? Well, show you right now on your screen is a clip of the incident, but we can't play it because of YouTube terms and services when it comes to copyright. So this is a picture frame of the clip. This military individual was seen unboxing a package of arms that were sent to the military men in some locations in northern Nigeria. This guy, while unboxing this package, made a statement. Showing right now on your screen is a statement made by this military officer. It states, "Biafra, I swear now, ba, you see our magazine now, ba, our magazine are clean color. Wallahi, Boko Haram una go suffer. Biafra una go suffer." And this is coming from a Nigerian military officer. When you take a look at this statement closely, you notice that this military officer used or put Biafra in the same sentence with Boko Haram, which shows a high level of illiteracy. Yes, showing right now on your screen is a detailed analysis on the illiteracy level of the Nigerian army. It states, in 2017, the Nigerian army admitted that a large number of its recruits lacked basic literacy and communication skills, prompting the creation of literacy programs. So as you can see, the Nigerian military is highly infested with monumental levels of illiteracy, and that is why an officer will be seen openly putting Bafra and the Boko Haram in the same sentence. Who does that? Well, these are the consequences when you recruit individuals who lack basic levels of education into your military. Well, showing right now on your screen is a detailed analysis on the consequences of illiteracy in the Nigerian military. The first one is operational efficiency. The second is record keeping. The third is adoption of modern warfare technologies. And the fourth here is professionalism and civil military relations. These are the consequences when you get individuals that did not go or have basic education into your structure. Well, showing right now on your screen is something you need to know and understand. Bafra itself is not a terrorist group, and this is something the Nigerian military should know at this particular point in time. This is something an individual who calls himself a security of the nation should know and adopt into his system. But it's a shame to see the officer of the law threatening people and saying that he's going to use his arms on them or against them at a particular point in time. Well, moving on swiftly, we received an article coming from Asari Dokubo, which is very laughable. Well, showing right now on your screen is a tweet coming from a user on Twitter known as Sizwe Bansi, and maybe he's not dead. It states, Asari Dokubo, come 2027, we the Ijaws will walk with the North. The Yorubas are betrayers and hate we the Ijaws so much. And this statement is coming from Asari Dokubo, and this happens to be very, very laughable because this man, for the presidential elections in Nigeria, he campaigned heavily for Bola Tinubu. He campaigned heavily for him. He went from town to town in his state telling people that, see, Bola Tinubu is the salvation, and if this man doesn't perform to its fullest, hold me accountable. Well, showing right now on your screen is a statement coming from Daily Post released on the 8th of July of 2025, where it states, Asari Dokubo cuts ties with Yoruba politicians and declares alliance with the North. Well, this is very, very interesting. This article also went a step further to give us a detailed reportage where it states, former Niger Delta militant leader and ex-head of the defunct Niger Delta People's Volunteer Force, Mujahid Asari Dokubo, has stated that he will no longer support Yoruba politicians, accusing them of betraying him and the Ijaw people. In a video shared on social media on Monday, Asari Dokubo declared his new political alignment with northern politicians, whom he described as consistent, respectful, unlike their Yoruba counterparts. This is highly laughable because we all know who this man is. If Asari Dokubo greets you good morning in the morning, you have to definitely open your windows to be sure that what you are seeing is sun and not moonlight. This guy over the past couple of years has made a series of statements which are exclusively false and which he himself will contradict. This guy over the past couple of years and decades has sworn not to align with Yoruba politicians. Take for instance this article showing right now on your screen. This is coming from 2013 to 2014 while performing Hajj in Mecca in 2013, Dokubo said he severed communication with Tinubu, Rauf Arigbesola, Adams Oshomole, Kayode Fayemi, and even President Buhari due to his loyalty to the then President Goodluck Jonathan. So as you can see, this man in 2013 has sworn not to associate himself with Bola Tinubu and some other All Progressive Congress politicians. That was in 2013. Well, take a look at this article showing right now on your screen that happened in 2024. Where this man claimed that after actively supporting Tinubu's presidential campaign, allegedly spending all his money on it, Dokubo claimed he was betrayed by Yoruba politicians in October of 2024. He announced he would no longer work with Yoruba politicians and planned to realign with northern leaders. And this is coming from 2024. So the question here is, how many times will this man detach himself from the All Progressive Congress and from a particular ethnic group as he claims? This man has done it over 2 times in less than 12 years. And even early this year, still, Dokubo came up to contradict himself. Take a look at this article coming from Nigerian News where it states, video, I cannot abandon Tinubu. He was there for me in the darkest times. Asari Dokubo makes a U-turn. So what is the problem of this man? This man cannot make a statement and stick with it. He cannot make a decision and stick and work together with that particular decision he has outlined for himself. This guy has vowed over time to stop working collectively or exclusively with Bola Tinubu, but then he will go back and still contradict himself. Well, so what do we think is wrong with Asari Dokubo? It's actually very easy and simple to understand. This man is a typical example of stomach infrastructure. This man will sing your praises if you give him money. This man will sing your praises if you appoint him or give him a juicy political position in Nigeria. But the moment you stop giving him all those grants, you're now making a series of promises and vows not to work with you. This man is a typical example of anywhere belle face, and that is what is wrong with Asari Dokubo. And that is why you shouldn't take anything that comes from this man's mouth seriously. It's a typical example of stomach infrastructure and anywhere belle face. Anyways, moving on swiftly, let's look at our next update that we have for you in this video briefing. As stated previously, some individuals domiciled in the most powerful nation of the world, USA, were seen holding and having a peaceful protest and a procession. Showing right now on your screen is a screenshot of this protest. Sorry, I can't play this video because of copyright issues and YouTube terms of services. But the bone of contention here is that the individuals in this protest were seen with megaphones and microphones making interesting statements. They informed the president, the sitting president of the powerful nation of the world, in the person of Donald Trump, to replicate, to learn, to adopt the system of a particular African individual. So the question here is, who is this African that Americans are asking the president of the USA to adopt a system, learn from him, and to work like him? Well, the individual that was chanted in this video is the leader or the president of Burkina Faso, in the person of Ibrahim Traoré. Yes. So individuals in the USA were expressively calling for the president of the USA to adopt the system of this man, Ibrahim Traoré. Interestingly, showing right now on your screen are some of the tenets and traits of Ibrahim Traoré that no leader in the world assistant can replicate or copy. As you can see, this man is actually very young. He happens to be the youngest leader in the world. Nobody can copy that. Age cannot be retracted, reframed, or backtracked. And also, this guy is fully against anti-colonialism. Yes, Ibrahim Traoré is fully against anti-colonialism, which we all know other world powers like the USA, Russia, China, the UK, and so on and so forth cannot come out and say they're not dependent on colonialism or neo-colonialism. This man also is a Pan-Africanism, is also a populism, which means this man has the support of the whole populace. We also have security stance and lifestyle. These are the traits and tenets individuals domiciled in the USA are urging their president to copy and replicate in his administrative pattern and system. Anyways, if you find our videos interesting, informative, and highly educative, please do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Here you get first-hand info, breaking news, and updates as it all unfolds from all parts of the world. Anyways, moving on swiftly, let's take a look at our next updates that we have for you in this video coverage. As we speak, the former vice president of the federation in the person of Abubakar Atiku came up yesterday to make interesting statements regarding the next presidential elections and how the ADC will conduct their primaries. Well, showing right now on your screen is an article coming from Business Day where he states Atiku rejects Southern call to step down, demands open primary. This article also went a step further to give us more info where he states Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, has strongly rejected mounting calls from political leaders and stakeholders in southern Nigeria, urging him to step aside in favor of a southern presidential candidate. The demand, which has gained traction among members of the coalition, is anchored on the principle of equity, justice, and rotation of power, with many arguing that the South deserves to complete its tenure at the presidency. So as you can clearly see, Atiku Abubakar doesn't want the flag bearer of the ADC political party to be selected. He wants it to go down in open primaries. Yes. When you take a look at this assertion coming from the former vice president of the federation, it makes sense. But the question here is, how will the primaries work? Will you guys bribe or try to influence delegates to vote for you? That is a serious question that we all need to answer before coming into conclusion at this particular point in time. But interestingly, there's something we all need to know about Atiku Abubakar. This guy has contested for the office of Nigeria's president for the record of 6 times. You're showing right now on your screen. It's a detailed and a full breakdown of every single year this guy has contested. The very first time he did was in 1993, where he ran under the Social Democratic Party, SDP. And the outcome is he lost at the party primary to MKO Abiola. The second time is in 2007, where he contested under Action Congress AC, and he lost the elections to the late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Well, in 2011, he did the same thing. He contested under the People's Democratic Party, known as the PDP, and he lost the primaries to Goodluck Jonathan. Fast forward to 2015, he vied for the position in the All Progressive Congress primaries, but he lost that slot to Muhammadu Buhari. In 2019, he contested under the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and he lost the elections to the All Progressive Congress that had Buhari as its flag bearer. In 2023 again, this guy contested under the People's Democratic Party, and he won the primaries but lost to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So as you can see, this guy has vied for this position for 6 times and counting, and as we speak, he's not tired. He wants to go for the 7th time. Maybe he wants to make it 10 to be a round figure. Interesting one. Well, if this man happens to be the president of Nigeria, will he fix the country? Because this guy has shown the zeal and the fight, the strength, the power in him in contesting every single day. Does he have anything in his tank? Is he going to work differently? Well, nobody knows for sure. But one thing we know is that the president of the most powerful nation of the world, Donald Trump, came out recently through the BBC to give us more clarity on why he invited 5 African leaders to the White House to hold a crucial meeting, and why possibly Bola Tinubu's name was exempted from that list. Well, showing right now on your screen, it's an article coming from the BBC where it states why Trump has invited 5 African leaders to the White House. The article gave us more clarity by stating the US President Donald Trump began the 3-day summit in Washington, D.C. with the leaders of 5 African states, an event the White House sees as an incredible commercial opportunity. Trump's guests include the leaders of Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, none of whom represent the major economies of the continent. The meetings are expected to concentrate on Trump's trade, not aid policy, and with all of them facing 10% tariffs on goods exported to the USA, they may be hoping to do deals to negotiate these rates down. During a televised launch at the White House on Wednesday, the African leaders lavished Trump with praise while encouraging U.S. economic partnership. Wow, this is an interesting one. So as you can clearly see, the president of the USA had reasons why he chose these countries of the African continent and why he exempted countries like Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Angola, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we received an info stating that Bola Tinubu wasn't invited because of the case he has with the FBI back in the day when Bola Ahmed Tinubu forfeited over $460,000 to the US state government. Well, moving on swiftly, we also have an interesting news and update that you definitely have to see. Something played out in a Spanish court recently that gave us a clear relations and a clear narrative on how Simon's case in the Finnish court would probably look like. Well, for clarity, take a look at this article coming from Al Jazeera. It states, Carlo Ancelotti sentenced to prison in Spain over tax fraud. This article gave us full clarity by stating Spanish prosecutors accused Ancelotti of defrauding the state of 1 million euros in 2014 and 2015. State prosecutors sought a prison sentence of up to 5 years and 9 months on 2 counts of tax fraud. But the former Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain boss, who no longer lives in Spain, will not serve jail time because the sentence is less than 2 years and he has no criminal record. In Spain, a judge has the discretion to suspend a sentence of less than 2 years for first-time offender. So as you can clearly see, Ancelotti, the current coach of the Brazilian national team, has been sentenced to prison for 1 year over tax fraud. But we all know that this guy will not go to jail. Why? Because the Spanish courts and other courts in Europe have the discretion on suspending the sentence, the prison time, if the individual or the suspect is a first-time offender. And this highly links with the case of Simon. Yes, for better understanding and for full clarity, take a look at this article showing right now on your screen. It states, will he actually serve jail time? The article reads, Spanish law stipulates that sentences under 2 years for non-violent first-time offenses are typically suspended, meaning the convicted individuals do not go to prison. Angelotti has no prior convictions, and his case fits this criteria. As you can clearly see, Angelotti is not going to jail because the sentencing will be suspended, and this links heavily with the case of Simon. Well, showing right now on your screen is something you need to know and understand. It states how Finnish courts handle tax fraud cases. Just in case you don't know, Simon also has tax evasion in his fourth charge leveled against him in the Hague District Court in Finland. So this article gives us more clarity using the precedent of Angelotti's case. It states categories of tax offenses in Finland, and it went on and on to give us the full classification of different forms, different classes, and different types of tax frauds. But then Simon's case falls under aggravated tax fraud, which simply means he could face 6 months to up to 4 years if found guilty. Take a look at this highlighted part of the screen. It states a conditional suspended prison sentence, particularly if it's a first offense, there was cooperation, repayment occurred, or other mitigating factors are present. So as you can see, we all know that Simon pleaded guilty to tax evasion. So if he's found guilty, the high possibility that he will not go to prison because of the fact that it is his first time or committing such an offense. Hope it's actually very simple to understand. Anyways, moving on swiftly, we receive an article and publication coming from the desk of the IPOB. Showing right now on your screen is a publication coming from the Vanguard, where it states the IPOB distanced itself from Biafran government in exile, reaffirms support for Nnamdi Kanu. The article also gave us a full description where it states the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has issued a strong statement reaffirming its loyalty to its detained leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, while distancing the group from the activities of any parallel groups or individuals promoting what it described as an unauthorized version of the Biafran struggle. In a statement signed by the IPOB's media and publicity secretary in the person of Comrade Imam Powerful, the group cautioned against comparing Kanu's long-standing efforts with what is called unauthorized self-style movement operating outside Nigeria. So as you can see, these guys are distancing themselves from any government that resides outside the coffers or geographical settings in Nigeria. They're claiming that these people are illegal and shouldn't be likened or linked with Nnamdi Kanu, a man held in the Finnish Correctional Center. Anyways, moving on swiftly, we received a rather very surprising and laughable article on updates coming from the current Senate President of Nigeria. This man thinks that Nigerians are daft. He feels like Nigerians are very, very, very dumb and don't keep records. So the question here is, what did Ekpa come out to say recently? Well, take a look at this article coming from the Cable. It states, Ekpa, Nigerians think senators make money, but we struggle after office. Ekpa spoke on Wednesday during plenary as lawmakers paid tribute to Caleb Zagi, former Kaduna South senator who died on the 25th of June of 2025 after a brief illness. He also claimed that senators are not as rich as we Nigerians think, and the senators in Nigeria need serious help financially too, like every other individual out there. But we all know that this is a big, fat, and express lie coming from the desk of the Senate President. Well, we all know that the Nigerian Senate happens to be the highest paid senators in the whole wide world. Interestingly, we don't even know that these guys, even if you serve as a senator for just one period of time,